Hello everyone! Thanks for tuning in if you're watching. I just wanted to come on here and share why I chose a natural birth, a water birth, a home birth. They all kind of go together in their own unique way, but I had a lot of people reach out to me and congratulate me on the birth of my son Landen last week. I appreciate all the love. I really do. And I had a lot of people just ask me questions about natural birth and why I chose that and why I wanted to do it at home. And I figured I'll just make a short clip and share my story and why I chose that for myself. And hopefully that will encourage anyone out there if you're looking into it in your future or anything, or you have questions. I'd love to talk privately as well. I like to talk to people, so let me know if you have questions, but I'm just gonna start out with my story, and I love that people are curious and want to know kind of how it all works, because I was in the same boat before I made my decision. So first I'm going to start out with Liam, my first son, and it was about 20 weeks, a little bit after I actually started thinking about labor and delivery, and I don't know about you, I never thought about it before, and when I heard about it, I just heard pretty much horror stories. It's so painful, it's hours long, it's just, I don't know, I just didn't hear good things. And so around then I was like, wait, I'm actually gonna birth a human, I'm gonna experience these things, so I wonder what it's gonna be like. At the same time, what do you know, Facebook was stalking me in my pregnancy, and I started getting natural birth articles posted on my Facebook, or on the sidebar, and I was never thought about natural birth. Like I said, never thought about birth, and I was intrigued because I like to go down the natural route as much as possible, and I like research and digging into things. So I was like, okay, let's look this up and see if it's for me. And as I was reading different articles too, that are sticking out to me from people that I just respect as I grew in my natural birth journey, is Mama Natural. She has awesome material on natural birth, home birth, water birth, so many questions you have on birth. So that's a great resource. And then evidence-based birth, there's a podcast for that and articles and a website. So those are ones I was kind of digging into. And I just learned that basically I renewed my mind about birth, and I learned that our bodies as women are made to birth. That's how God designed it. It's not a scary thing. It's not a bad thing. It doesn't have to be a horror story. And for me, I was a low-risk pregnancy, so for me, these articles just really resonated with me on that, your body can perform for a natural birth because that's how you were designed, that's how you were created. And because I was low risk, because I didn't need any interventions health-wise, I was really intrigued, and I was like, okay, so I like to work out, I like to be healthy as much as possible. No one's perfect. Well, I'm not perfect. So I was like, the natural route of labor and delivery seemed like it would be up my alley, and just learning about an epidural. Obviously, I never had one, so this is just what I've read and talked to different friends about. When you get an epidural, you have to kind of stay still. You can't move around. And in labor, it's really healthy to move around and change positions. And when you push the baby out, you've probably all seen it in movies, they're laid back and their legs are up, and that really works against gravity. And so you want to be as upright as possible, I guess, to actually work for your body and your baby, for gravity to pull the baby down. And with an epidural, you can't do that because you have to be in one position. And that was one thing. There's multiple reasons, but that was one thing that was really interesting to me. And when I learned about decreased time of second stage of labor, when you don't have an epidural, was just intriguing to me. So all these things I was learning, and I know hospitals are great and they bring life into the world and they save lives, and like medicine totally has its place and I respect medicine for sure. But at the same time, I was really passionate on birthing natural at this point. And as I was reading and talking to people and researching, the one thing that kept popping up was, if you want a natural birth, you're gonna have to have someone advocate for you, and more than likely that would be a midwife. And at this point I was seeing an OB, like I said, and so as I was reading this, midwives, they're with you the whole time. It's more relationship-based care, and you know me, that's kind of who I am. I'm a relationship-based person, so it's one-on-one. They're the ones that are there guaranteed with you when you are in labor, compared to like an OB, they're on call, so it just kind of depends who you get. And for me, that relationship, that person that's with you the whole time, and especially a midwife, they have seen like hours of labors play out, and I think my midwife saw over 200 births before mine, or a little bit more, a little bit less, around that number. And I was really intrigued by that, like, wow, like you saw like hours of labor and birth. So that was just important to me, because they really know what to look for complication wise, and they know kind of how to advocate for you and support you in your decision of natural birth. So I knew why I wanted a natural birth. I knew why I wanted a midwife. So then why would I birth at home when you can just do those things in a hospital? And you totally can do those things in a hospital, but for me, it was more peaceful to be at my house. I know some people, they're like, I would never want to be at my house, but it's just peaceful knowing I don't have to rush to the hospital, or am I going to be late, or am I going to be early, or do I have to wait around and see kind of what happens. It was just this peace of knowing, like, I don't have to leave my house. I have someone come to me, take care of me, clean up everything at my house, and kind of help me, serve me as I'm birthing this human. And so it was, it just was the route I wanted to go down, and especially because there are definitely midwives that are part of hospital facilities and everything like that. But just the type of care I wanted with a midwife, it just more aligns with a home birth. So that was a decision I was really excited about. And I knew that as I was reading, labor is intense and it's hard work, but because I renewed my mind, those are the type of words I use instead of like painful or horrible or just agony. My words changed, so I viewed it in a different way. So with that being said, those are just kind of some of my reasons. There's multiple reasons, but those are just some things that are kind of popping out at me. So to shorten up my story, I changed around 25 weeks with Liam from an OB to a midwife, and I decided to birth at a birth center. The birth center closed down because she closed her practice and moved, but I was in an apartment, so I didn't want to birth in my apartment complex. It didn't feel like my home yet. So I had an awesome birth with Liam, a water birth as well, at a birth center. And so when I was pregnant with Landen, I was like, I want to do the same thing, but I'm not even at home. I don't have to leave. So that's what I did. And I did have fear going into my second birthing experience. My first experience was honestly really great. It was 11 hours, and pretty short for your first. At least that's what I'm told. And yeah, it was a good experience, but there was still fear, and so I had to renew my mind again on like what my body's made to do and how God designed it and how my body knows what it's doing. It's the natural thing. Women have birthed like years before, thousands of years before, without medication, and this is like totally doable. So with prayer and just confessing to people, like, I'm kind of nervous even though I did this before, and having people encourage me, and James was a big part of that too, to just renew my mind on what I'm made to do, how God designed me. So with this experience, as I was in labor, it was like a whole day of like really slow. I went on a walk, went to the grocery store, very relaxed. I had no fear. It was awesome. It was such a great experience. And for me to be like, my birth was so awesome. Like when people told me that before, I was like, that's weird. I've never heard that. But to say like, I loved it. It was so great. I enjoyed it. It like reflecting back, it brings me joy to think about because of the support I had, because of the experience I had, because I was at home, and the water really releases a lot of tension. As well. It was like just so peaceful sitting in water and having support. So I know that might sound strange, but that's totally how I felt, especially with the second birth experience. And I also just want to say, if anyone's out there and you have questions or want to know my resources, I'd love to send them your way. But also if you're thinking like, I kind of want to pursue this route, obviously medically totally got to make sure you're okay to do that, but besides that part is to just build your belief in why you would want to do a natural birth, why you'd want to have a home birth, why you'd want to have a midwife. Build your belief and surround yourself with people that are going to encourage that, because that's super important. And know that your body is made to do that, and with proper exercises. I did a lot of squats, a lot of power walking, and relaxation techniques. I took a natural birth class, so that was really helpful. But just there's different tools to build your belief and to prepare for that experience. And I'm all about preparation. I'm all about research and know what you're doing before you do it as much as possible. You can't really fully know until you're in it, but that's just what I encourage you to do, and know that your body is made to birth. That's how God created women. And I encourage you to pursue that route if that's something you really want and that's a desire of your heart. Because I've heard too many stories of people that have wanted a natural birth, and they were fearful and they didn't have the support to pursue that, and so they've looked back and just had really negative birth experiences. And those people, I just want to be like, the next time around you can do something different. It doesn't have to be the same. So anyway, that's just some of my encouragement, and I hope this blessed you guys. If you have questions, seriously let me know, and thanks for listening. Bye.